Hello, hello, hello. How are you staying, everyone? Welcome to Newcastle Fans TV. Oh, it's been a couple of days on this channel. Obviously, there's still plenty of other uploads on NFTV Extra, so head over there. But today we're going to talk about the injury crisis. I've been putting some stuff out on the social media today of options that Steve Bruce can look at. So we're going to be looking at a few options because we do have a bit of a concern at the back at the moment. So Lewis has just mentioned bring Lejeune back from his loan might be a good idea. And you can't call Lejeune, says Andrew Bell. We'll touch upon Fabian Lejeune very shortly. But thank you very much. Welcome. It's not the watch long, but welcome anyways to NFTV. We are aiming for 100 likes. Can you help me? I'm in a different area of the room today. I just thought I'd change it up with the signed footballs behind us and so on. But thank you very much if you're watching tonight or the rerun of it. So let's crack on with it. First things first, we have a new sponsor. Happy days, eh? This has been in the pipeline for a good week or so. We've been talking to Manscaped. They like the style with videos, and they've jumped on board, want us to promote them, which is fantastic. So have a look at manscaped.com. They're premium shavers for top and bottom, if you know what I mean. And you can also get 20% off that. So have a look at it. It's good. We're waiting for ours to be delivered in the post. And we'll talk all about it nearer to the time. But yeah, so do have a look at that. Let's crack on with it. So the options are then, we know that there's a few injuries currently amongst the Newcastle squad at the minute. Well, I say a few. I mean, there's loads, but more so defensively. But we all know that Fabian Schär is now out for the season. And he's probably played his last game of the season. There's his tweet on screen. You can see it's difficult to accept. I really feel good on the pitch and the team did well the last few games. Now I'll be out for a few months and it's going to be a hard time, but I will try everything to be back on the pitch as soon as possible. And my goal is to be ready for the Euros. So he's out of contract in the summer. Will he get an extension? Has Steve Bruce seen enough? Is his coaching team seen enough from Fabian Schär? I still think he'll go. I don't think he'll sign that contract extension. But it's sadly it's caused Newcastle a massive injury crisis because we've got obviously a few people missing, but horrible because what was he doing anyways up there at the other end of the pitch taking the free kick? He doesn't take free kicks for us, but bit of a strange one with Fabian Schär, but it's sad that we've lost him. But hopefully others can pick up the mantle. When he was stretched off and we're down to 9 men, I was fearing the worst. On the weekend, I was thinking Newcastle. It's harsh to say I wasn't actually thinking of Fabian Schär's injury. I'm not going to lie. I was more concerned about us getting 3 points at the time. And you have to say credit where the lads were on Saturday. They were absolutely sensational. First half going forward. Second half, because of Jeff Hendrick's stupid 2 yellows, made us had to defend. And then we lost Fabian Schär, 9 men. So it was literally a 4-4-0, which was brilliant by the lads how they performed and came away. Never mind a point. But 3 points was really, really pleasing. That's right up there for me with Everton this season because we showed 2 different types of performances. First half going forward, second half just trying to hold the ball up, trying to use Miggy as an outlet on the left, defend for your lives, and the lads done it. Let's have a look at what you're saying in the comments as well. Big Andy at centre-back, yeah, he actually started his career. I'm sure he started his centre-back. Surely there's a centre-back in the under-23s that can come in, even if it's just to sit on the bench. Andrew, we are getting to that. We've got a lot to get through. How's Ludwig Francelet getting on the under-23s? Why not give him a game or 2? Again, Ollie, we're coming to it. Don't worry. Recall Lejeune straight away. Peter Griffin, not the real Peter, but we'll come to that very shortly as we move on. And he also says that Lejeune is one of our best centre-backs. Yes, Sam absolutely loves him on our channel. But, of course, we knew that Fabian Schär was injured. And this is currently where we are. And this is just defence. We're not talking about Hendrick in his second yellow, Callum Wilson's injury, none of that. We're just focusing on the defence in tonight's video. Kieran Clark, of course, missed the game because his partner was giving birth to a baby. He'll definitely be available a week on Monday, so he'll definitely come in. Paul Dummett is injury prone, but he's also available. I thought he was sensational when he came off the bench the other day. Fabian Schär is now out for the season. Still don't know what's happening with Jamal Lascelles. He's still missing. Isaac Hayden has to keep dropping back into defence, which we don't really want, although he's doing a fab job there and he was sensational on Saturday, but you didn't really want Isaac Hayden dropping in defence, although he looks out and doesn't look out of place. I'd still want him in defensive midfield. Javier Manquillo, we don't know the extent of how long he's going to be out for. DeAndre Edmonds just literally been sold. And then Federico Fernandez, again, it's still unknown when he returns. I mean, hopefully Lascelles or Fernandez come back for the game against Chelsea, because if they come back in the match fit, will they be match fit? They'll start. So we'll see. But there is some options. So let's just say Lascelles and Fernandez don't come back. What formation are we going to go against Chelsea, first of all? That's the first question. Do you go 4 at the back? Do you go 5 at the back? Because we've been playing better at 4 at the back. Will Bruce bottle it and panic about against Chelsea's attacking threat? I think he will. I think he will panic. So first option is you could go back at 5 at the back. And this is assuming that there's no Lascelles or no Fernandez. So we're going with that format. And this was posted on our socials today. So obviously Jamal Lewis can play left wing back. Krath can do a job at right wing back. He could even play Jacob Murphy there if he comes back in. So there's 2 options there. Hayden is your right centre back. Clark is the leader, talker in the centre, and Paul Nubber could play left centre back. That's your options if you're going to play 5 at the back, assuming again Lascelles and Fernandez don't make it. There's your first option. Your second option is you could go at 4 at the back instead, but there's a little bit of unbalance here. Your second option, again, assuming there's no Lascelles, no Fernandez, you could play 4 at the back against Chelsea. However, you are playing, and that's meant to say, 2 left-footed centre-backs, which brings a little bit unbalance. So you can have Lewis at left back, you could have Krath at right back, you could have Clark and Dummett as your 2 centre-backs, although you are playing 2 centre-backs. So do you want the balance? Do you not? Does that get into Bruce's thinking? For me, that's probably not the logic one out of the 3 that I've got here. I think that'll be the third best option personally, but let's see what he's saying in the comments before we get on to the third one as well. Lee, do you think we can get 3 points against Chelsea? No, I don't. There's an easy answer for you. Could even play Krath at right. Centre-back says Liam as well. I wonder what outfit Liam's going to be wearing on his next video. Stay tuned to Match Day for that. Peter says, Evening Lee, are you available to play in defence against Chelsea? If they paid us, I would. No, I wouldn't even pay. I would play for free. You know, I would. I think any June fan would. I prefer Murphy in a 5, but it would have to be Krath in a 4 as well. You want Hayden in the midfield. I totally agree. Totally agree with Ollie, but even when he drops into defence, he does not look out of place whatsoever. So for none of these options are thrilling. I hope it's a 4, says Jay. Yeah. And the third option, which I want to come on to, is this one, which is again is a 4 at the back, assuming once again that there is no Lascelles and Fernandez. And this probably has a better balance because you're playing a left-footed centre-back and you are playing someone who's right-footed, although Isaac Hayden, for me, I would like to see him in centre midfield, holding the midfield. That is probably better for me. If you're going to play Dummett and Clark at centre-backs, I'd rather have this. If you're playing 4 at the back, assuming the other 2 aren't coming back from injury. But the other option, of course, is the wing-backs, which you just put in another centre-back in there. So that's your 3 options for Chelsea. Again, we'll talk more about Chelsea later in the week, probably the weekend when we start to do a preview. We might even do a black and white show for that. But you mentioned already, a couple of you have asked in the comments, what about the under-23 lads? So, of course, that is an option that you could look at as well. But do you risk them? That is the issue. For me, if you are going to have any of the under-23s, I would have them as cover. That's it at the moment. That's, I think, just at the moment we're coping, but you could have an option of 2 lads. You've got Ludwig Franzlet on your right-hand side, who can be impressive. I say can because he is at fault for a mistake in him, but he is your proper athlete, more natural ability in terms of athletes-wise, I'm talking about here, where he's big, he's strong, he's got a bit of pace, a bit of aggression about him. Whereas the Irishman, who looks like our man Matt, sorry Matt, but as a carbon copy, Matt's twin on your screen on the left side, Isaac McEntee, Irish youngster, can also play in midfield if he needs to be, but he's more better on the ball than what Franzlet is. But it's an option for Steve Bruce if he wants to look at cover, because these 2 do not need to be registered. They can literally sit on the bench if needs be, rather than a Emil Krath as the emergency centre-back. One of these 2 could come in. Will we say it? I don't think so. But again, it's an option for Steve Bruce at the back. And of course, some of you have already talked about Florian Lejeune. He cannot play this season because we've already got a 25-man squad. So categorically state Fabian Schär will not play for Newcastle this season as much as some people want to see him. The Frenchman is doing a good job out in La Liga. Obviously kept Messi quiet in one of the games early on the season, won a couple of Team of the Weeks. It's a shame, but we have to deal with it. But the other one is Callum Watts, and this is a massive if we did have a recall clause, because when he was at Stevenage, he had that, and we brought him back in January and loaned him back out to, I think it was Mansfield. If he had, and that's big if he has a recall in his contract, because if he doesn't, we can't do nothing about it. However, the negativity about bringing Callum Watts back is that he's performing in League One, and he's just actually beat Sunderland a couple of weeks back. He's performing so well, chipped in with a couple of goals. Do you bring him back in just to sit on the bench for a couple of games and he rots back in the under-23s again? Or do you just allow him to play first-team football where he is, confident, playing, growing into a man, coming back into the summer when he's wanting to be a part of, not so much the first-team starting 11, but maybe the squad? That's the risk you run of bringing Callum Watts back. Although, for cover, it's a dilemma that you could have, but for me, I'll keep Callum Watts where he is. I really would. I think we're managing just at the minute at centre back, and like I say, you could go on to the couple of these as cover if needs be. I don't think they'll play, but as cover, that is one option. Let us know what you think about Callum Watts, because if you stop his progression, bringing him back, is that a negative effect? So let's have a look at what he's just saying. Dummett is not a wing back. Must be some of you talking in the comments there. Andrew says third option, best option. Yeah, with four at the back and someone holding in front drops in. And I don't think Bruce would match up with Chelsea with wing backs. Look, I don't want to play wing backs, but I could totally understand against the big boys if Bruce is petrified and goes five at the back. I could see that happening on Monday. When will Dubravka? I don't think Dubravka has a massive issue. We've got two fantastic goalkeepers at the moment. I think the issue at the minute is with striker. Is he fit for the long term? How long is he going to be out for? And also, who's playing where in defence? Peter's reply to Sam said, I would have Lee rather than crap we have now. Mind you, I didn't think I could run as fast as what I used to in my 20s. Surely we won't press high against Chelsea. Maybe recall Watts. Yeah, we just talked about that. It's an option, but do you stop his progression though? For the summer, Cal Watts for the summer needs to be part of the first team. Whatever happens with Fabian Schär, Cal Watts has to be at least part of that first team squad and play the odd game, maybe 10 games a season, 15 games. For me, I think he's ready to come back in the summer. Cal Watts has been brilliant everywhere he's played. Give him a go. So you recall him and play him. Big ask. It's a huge ask, mind you. Very optimistic for the Chelsea game. I can say he's pulling us off shock. It'd be absolutely wonderful if we can. Wolfstein says, Hayat and Sam obviously goes on to say, I would feel okay with Dummett and Clark at centre-back. Hayden can slot in there seamlessly as well. There is one other option, and it's a bizarre option, right? And it's complicated. So we can actually sign somebody, but the player has to be under the age of 21 and cannot be contracted. And on top of that, must get a work permit to play for Newcastle. That's quite a lot to sink in, because you can be a free agent under the age of 21, does not need registered in the Premier League squad, doesn't need to be attached to a club, but also needs to get that work permit. Brexit, obviously, we've just left the EU. That makes it a lot more difficult. That's highly, highly unlikely. There is a couple of players. I say a couple. There's a few listed there, and I'm going to be totally honest with you. None of you have heard of them. I haven't heard of them. That is the final option. That is an emergency option that we could look at. I don't think this will happen, but I thought I'll throw that in there anyway, just for the banter. Why not? But it is actually an option that we could go down that route. But why would you sign an unknown when you've got McEntee, Francelet, and Watts out on loan? I don't see the point in that, and it's too difficult to get a work permit. And again, you could also mention Bradley Cross is another one that you could chuck in from the under-23s. He can play a right back and centre back. He's another one, South African as well. How old is Cal Watts? I think he's 21 now, Cal Watts. Nigel Pearson, hi lads. Hi Martin, how you doing? Bradley Morris, 21, 22, I believe as well. And we're coming towards the end of that. the video. So we are aiming for 100 likes if you are watching live or the rerun. You know what to do. Hit that like button. We'll hopefully get more of the gang. I'm trying desperately to get more faces on the channel for this week, for the rest of the presenters, because you don't want to see my ugly mug all week. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the rest of your night. I hope you like that different type of video. Loads of different stuff coming up this week. And also on NFT Reacts, where you got me playing Football Manager. Aye, get over there. See you later, everyone. Ta-da.